You fell for the thumbnail. And yeah, Last of Us 2 is definitely not the best game of the year. It's most likely the worst game of the year. This game, this one, the first Last of Us, will always be remembered for its great story and its great characters and in-depth storytelling. Think about it. This game came out 7 years ago and we're still talking about it, and it's even ranked as one of the best games all of the 2010s. With The Last of Us 2, notice that it came out, yet it's not really talked about. If talked about, it's mainly in a negative way. And what they did, hold on as I retrieve my Throne game, the biggest flaw with the second one is that it butchers the relationship between our first two main characters. Now, first off, before I get into this review, it's going to go full spoilers, so let's just go right ahead and spoil the game. Within the first 2 hours of this 20+ hour game, Joel's killed, and Joel's barely in the game when he's killed. He's in the background. He's like an extra NPC character. I was expecting Joel to die in this game to grow Ellie's character and make her grow in this really messed up world, but they made him go out in such a dumb way. Tommy just like, yeah, you know what, Tommy, you should go to Jackson. We have all these supplies. And oh, this is my brother Joel. This is him. This is the guy. This is the guy that you want, Joel, in all his perfect form. After Joel gets murdered by Abby, who pulls a super villainy line when she says, "Guess." Like, who do you think you are? Like Joel literally has Thanos' response of like, I don't even know who you are. Like, he doesn't know who she is. Like, this whole guess thing is just like, what? You're not a supervillain. You're just a really worried up, beefed up lady. That's another thing too. She is so freakishly big. Abby is a mammoth beast. And yeah, she works out, but I'm just thinking of all the supplements, all the protein she has to take, all the mass building. It's just, I don't know. Abby is so freakishly big. I understand she was training for this day to fight Joel, but Jesus Christ, she has to look like Hulk Hogan. So after Joel gets brutally murdered, for the dumbest reason, Ellie goes out her way to find Tommy after Tommy sneaks out of Jackson to find Joel's killer. And later on, as the game progresses, the game tells a story out of order. It's a very Christopher Nolan type going back and forth. And unfortunately, this kills the game. Okay, cameras, okay, take it easy. Especially because of this out of order, it tries to throw all the emotions later on. I would have preferred the story just took place in order, because when we first get the scenes, it's a lot of slow character buildup and growth between Joel and Ellie and Abby and Owen. You can't make me care for all these characters if the first time I meet them is when they die. For example, Owen being the most important character in Abby's life and Abby's story arc, he gets killed the first time we see him. No character growth, we don't even know who he is. The last time we saw him is when he killed Joel. He just dies. He just dies. He just gets murdered, and then they decide to like, oh, you know that character? Well, how about we make you care about him in the second half of the game. So I feel like the tense moments when it comes to the missions of Abby, rescuing your friends doesn't really matter considering that they already meet their end in the first half. How can you grow an attachment for someone that's already dead? You know how much of an impact of Joel's death would have been? I would have been fine if Joel's death was told in order. We get all the Joel and Ellie scenes, the birthday mission, when they went to the hotel, the guitar string mission, the sniper mission. And we witness all the character built and why we leading to this moment. They teased the scene in the very beginning about this confrontation Ellie had with some dude at the bar who just decided out of all days to be a pretty messed up dude, calling her very bad slurs. And then we get it and it's just, okay, that's what I waited 20+ hours to see? God, this noticeable popped zit is so noticeable. The gameplay for Ellie's part was massively disappointing. It just felt so plot heavy with any real growth in Ellie's part. Jesse being the one new character I like, he barely gets any screen time, and again, this is a spoiler review, he gets killed off unceremoniously. He's not even mentioned after being murdered. He gets blasted in the face, and no one talks about him. And it's hard for me to root for Abby because when she finds out that Ellie's girlfriend, Dina, gets pregnant, like, she's like, good. You're going, what, okay. I don't know who's supposed to be the bad guy in this story. Also, with Ellie's part in her first half of the game is so dark and gritty and depressing. I think they purposely try to make Ellie like a villain. Every time she kills someone, the NPC will shout their name, and it's getting pretty hard considering that later on in the game, you start realizing that the NPCs start copying off each other. So it's kind of like, that guy has about 3 brothers that look exactly like him, almost like clones, but they all have different names. Unless everyone in The Wolf is born out of twins, everyone's a twin. They even have you kill dogs, and in the other half, when you're playing as Abby, Abby pets her dog all lovingly. So I felt like the writing for Abby was kind of biased. Plus, Ellie didn't have that much to work with. Ellie's half was mainly plot heavy, while Abby's half was mainly character driven, and I think that's really unfair. We get to see a change of Abby, but with Ellie, her change doesn't really come until Abby shows up at the theater and beats her up. When we get to the ending of the game, there's this whole other faction that God knows, like, who are they? Like, who? That faction? Yeah, that was definitely a last minute plan. And you fight Abby and then you don't end up finishing her off. And I think that's such a waste of time. Abby's character, I just couldn't really get behind Abby. The performance of Abby is really great. I think the acting is all great in this game. I heard people were threatening the actress who played Abby. That's really uncalled for. She's just doing her job and being a really great actress. It's just that a lot of Abby's story development and everything just seems kind of pointless when she's sharing these romantic scenes with these other characters and important scenes with these characters when they get killed off the first time we see them playing as Ellie. Although some characters are a little bit dumb, this one girl character I did not bother. I think her name is Mel. Whatever, the pregnant lady. She's like 8 months pregnant and she's like, oh, I'm gonna go out to war. Do not worry about me. I am so not a leverage. Like, yeah, okay, you're the last thing I want to worry about in the battlefield. You and your baby. I remember a part in the game when you have to like toss her up in the cage and she totally slam dunks her pregnant belly onto this cage. There you go. Mission accomplished. See you later, baby. And of course they pull this like, oh, she's pregnant. Like multiple times. Like Dina comes in. I feel like this is a problem also with Ellie's part. When Dina announced that she got pregnant or she is pregnant to Ellie, it derails the adventure. I feel like Ellie could have just gone to Abby, but Dina just so happened to just be pregnant and be very sick at this time. Or when Abby found the theater, like, of course, Ellie had to leave the map at Abby's hideout so Abby can go find Ellie. Ellie made a promise to Tommy that she was going to finish it. And if I was Tommy, I would be pretty pissed to find out that Ellie did not finish it. Tommy not only has trouble walking, he is having marital problems with his wife, he lost an eye, and he lost his brother after his brother got his brain smashed in by some beefed up girl in the golf club. So yeah, after, I'm guessing Ellie found closure while she was strangling or drowning Abby down to the ground, she just has this vision of her just possibly forgiving Joel or trying to forgive Joel for what happened at the Firefly Hospital. I'm guessing the reason why she's having closure now because she didn't really have a proper goodbye of Joel. Maybe she wanted to forgive him, but I'm guessing she's just using that flashback of trying to forgive him as closure. Regardless, what a waste of my 20+ hour gameplay with this very bad game. Naughty Dog, what are you gonna do? I'm a small YouTuber. I only have 1 subscriber. You think I'm gonna have that much influence? I wasn't expecting it, but there was another game that I would have preferred winning. Game of the Year or soundtrack, you know, it's a pretty fun game. Campaign's pretty long and entertaining, you know. I'm just saying, you had other options, even though you had options with your Game of the Year choices. Is this game trash? Yes, absolutely. But it does have some good things about it. Again, all the acting, all the performances are great. My only problem with the performances is the line delivery. It's the same all the time. I mainly got it when Jesse was tagging along with Ellie. they'll have the same line delivery, and it was just driving me nuts. You go make a little stop to pick up supplies. It's the same line delivery, and it's the same little funny small talk in this long game, and it's just so not interesting. This is just it for like hours on Ellie's part. Hey, so where's the gas station? It's around here, over by the bank. Maybe if we just slip around from the left, then we can just come in. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I can do that. That's all the line delivery. And for a game that's supposed to be realistic, I find it, I'm jumping back to the cons. That's how many problems this game has. Another positive, let's stay to the positive. A positive is that the game looks beautiful. It looks great. It looks stunning. Probably one of the best looking games I have ever played. The realism, the facial animations, it's out of this world. Realism, let's backtrack a little bit. Realism, they hit it at a half point with the realism. For some reason, for a very realistic game, you just have to be a big built person in order to take a lot of damage. Regardless how big you are, you could be 6'8", weighing 400 pounds. I'm pretty sure a sickle entering into your chest will still hurt as much. The game does get a little political here, and I'm not going to dive deep into it. Politics are not my thing, but there's this one character who does bring up a political message, even though I don't find what they're trying to do wrong, because that is a group of people that we should really just open up to and tolerate. It's just the purpose and the place of it. And again, it does the tired tropes that people are kind of sick of with this, I'm guessing, woke media. Again, it makes one side look very appealing while they really try to make the other side very evil. Considering that the group who are against this political person is a very religious group. Overall, for this political character, I did not really care for them at the end. They brought in no real weight to it. I thought that character was kind of made to backtrack the story. The character ran off, and then we had to look for that character, and I'm just like, oh my god. Unfortunately, the sister of that character is a much more better character, but she ends up getting killed, and that shows how much this game cares about its characters. The only characters you need to care about is Ellie, Abby, and the political character. I forgot the political character's name, but I don't know. At the end of the game, Ellie just loses it all. What a robbing of an ending. In my opinion, if the game was told in order, it could have been a lot better. You know what my score would have been if it was told in order? A 6 out of 10. Maybe even a 7. Maybe even a 7 if it was told in order, because I'll be able to grow with Joel and Ellie, and then when Joel dies, it would have been more effective. Yes, he still would have died a dumb way, but if we had all those scenes with Ellie and Joel, then the murder scene of Joel, oh my god, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would be more emotionally impactful if Joel dies 6 hours into the game instead of 2 hours into the game. Also, I just feel like they could have just gone back and forth with Ellie and Abby. There is no reason why I played through the Seattle Day 1, 2, and 3 with Ellie, murdering all of the Abby's important characters, then playing as Abby to catch up to where Ellie's went. I don't know. But the game, out of order storytelling, really butchers it for me. I just ended up not caring. I ended up not caring rescuing some of Abby's friends when they died the first time I saw them. I just felt like, what's the point? What type of emotional weight are you trying to grab from me? I'm all for respecting other people's opinions, but the way I see some defense videos on The Last of Us 2, it just doesn't cut it. I understand that Abby's going through her own Last of Us, and she is traumatized as Ellie, as, you know, Abby sees her dead father. But it's kind of weird that this whole story just bumps off from a random NPC. The only innocent NPC you can just kill in the game in the last one. Oh my god, the more I just think about this game, the more I'm just like, the more I remember this game, the more I go through my notes and I'm just seeing it, I'm just like, wow, this game just brings up every problem. It's just reminding me of a new problem every time I'm getting into this review. Because here's the thing I don't get. Abby's whole storyline is off of Joel killing her father, the doctor that you killed in the first Last of Us game, who was performing the surgery for Ellie. The problem with that logic is that means it shouldn't just be Abby going after Joel. There should be dozens, if not hundreds of people going after Joel. Also, they try to make Ellie traumatized after killing one of Abby's friends, I think Nora. And when she goes back to Dina, she acts all traumatized. I'm like, why are you acting traumatized? Didn't I just blown someone's face off with a shotgun? That alone would be traumatizing. Or just like stabbing that one girl who was playing her little PS Vita, and she witnesses the girl struggling and gargling. Like, how are you not traumatized like that? It would be pretty messed up if I just saw someone just gargling and bleeding to death. But now, after bashing someone's face in with the pipe, I'm guessing that was traumatizing enough, even though Ellie killed like 100, 200 wolf people. Yeah, I'm sorry this review is all over the place, but man, this game just butchers so many of the opportunities. Again, the acting's great, the visuals are great, the soundtrack's a little bit great. I do like how the fun little mini game you're able to play with the guitar. I've seen some great videos of people actually doing legit covers off that game, and I think that's very talented. It's just the out of order storytelling with very underdeveloped new characters who gets killed off without even being talked about. And I don't know, at the end of the day, I just could not side with Abby no matter how hard they tried with their biased writing. Again, if this story was told in order, I would have given it a 6 or even maybe a 7. But at its current state, I don't see it. I don't see any of the critical praise. I think this game absolutely dropped the ball. And honestly, if your main argument is that this game is different, is bold, no, calm down. I'm going to give Last of Us 2... I'm going to give Last of Us 2 a 2 out of 10. This was bad. I did not enjoy my time. I really did not like the creative choice they went for Ellie, considering that Ellie doesn't have that much growth in her playthrough while Abby gets all of it. I just can't. The game really tried to make me sympathize for Abby, but its creative decision makes me not want to. Well, that goes for this review. I don't even know if I call it a review. I think I'm going to call it a rant, like a real rant. This game frustrated me every time I played it. So that's it for this video, guys. Yeah, I just had to review this game after the Video Game Awards announcements. And honestly, I just showed Doom Eternal. In my opinion, Doom Eternal was my favorite game of the year. I didn't play that many games this year, so Doom Eternal is my favorite game of the year. I totally understand if people want Ghost of Tsushima. I heard nothing but great reviews of that game. But yeah, that'll do it for this video, guys. Stay calm, play better games. And not buggy games like Cyberpunk. Okay, peace, bye!